No face cam because I'm too busy, but we're gonna get right into this video. In today's video, we're covering the patch notes for Outlast. Now, I will be covering some Helldivers content again, and I have some plans for that. And I know I've missed a few things with Helldivers, and for sure this week I'll be covering the DLC that comes out on Tuesday, but this video is about Outlast now. I'm not going to be using Facecam because I'm just too busy to put it on, and this isn't at nighttime, so, you know, I'm in a busy house, so during the day, no Facecam. But I'll be showing photos of what I'm reading and have gameplay in the background of Outlast. I got plenty of recorded gameplay for you guys to watch, so you keep entertained while I talk to you guys. First things first, I've been seeing a few videos out there talking about the new stamina system. If you think it's bad, you should stop playing the game. I'm gonna straight out side with the Red Barrel's developers on this one. The new stamina system, I think, is really good. There's actual videos out there saying it's worse than the last one. The last one, now let me explain why this one's better. The last one had you have to spam jump with a gas canister in your hand when going to fill up the generator, for example. I'm just using that, or any other like item you need to hold. You would need to spam jump just to get to that to the next area. Now, if you manage your stamina correctly, your stamina will, once you're max level for sure, will increase rapidly, quite fast. And the only people really complaining are console players and just overall terrible PC players. All the speedrunners I've come across haven't even mentioned the stamina system being bad. I think I highly disagree with anybody that thinks the stamina system is bad. You're allowed to disagree, but I won't accept your view because that's stupid. It's realistic now. People won't run if people in a dire situation aren't going to run out of breath for like eons. The new system they got now is good. You only run out for a little bit, like literally a few seconds, and if you try to spam jump, your guy will fall on the ground as you would in, like, if you're jumping in real life with a gas canister, you probably will trip. Like, you don't do that. It's unrealistic. So I like what they went with here. Anybody complaining? You need to stop. I've seen enough. I keep seeing these videos on my algorithm about stupid shit, dude. It's like, until you know how to develop a game yourself, honestly, like, some gamers are just, some of the things they talk about, they don't know what they're talking about. But no, it's a good system. Before, the last system was ass, and most of the people, like I said, complaining aren't even good players. They're just like fucking random people that come by every so often. They don't even know how to play the game. So I saw that, I had to get that out the way. That was annoying, but this is part of the patch notes anyways. So Toy Factory, so there's updates, highlights, so we're not going to read the highlights, but I'll put it on screen here. These already know about it. But reagents, today we are thrilled to unveil our version 1.0 release update, a culmination of months of early access and your valuable input throughout it. This update represents a significant milestone, signaling the beginning of an exciting journey ahead. As we move forward, we are committed to building upon this foundation, shaping the future of the Outlast Trials. Okay, so and then they kind of talk about, you know, they're addressing some key areas based on the feedback. So they actually did listen to the PC players. Console players aren't going to give any good feedback. I think the only thing they can actually give feedback for is if their servers are working or not, because apparently the servers went down for console. But when it comes to gameplay, they're never going to give actual good feedback because they don't have the response time of a PC player, because it's the way controllers are built. You can't even turn that fast. Your reaction time will be slower. I can't see a console player giving any good feedback towards the Outlast Trials. So I don't know why they would even listen to them, really. But I'm glad that they separated programs now, where ultra players, you know, that's going to be for people that want a challenge. At the same time, though, the problem with getting rid of Program X and forcing people to play Program X and making it also extremely easy is now anybody, even babies, could get reborns quite easily, and that's why you could just program. You could just farm the Genesis program and farm the trial, sabotage the lockdown over and over again. So all you gotta do is farm it 20 times, 2 minutes each. So, and then every 1 minute and a half or whatever your fastest time is, depending also on the RNG you get. It's really easy to do. You can do it solo. If you're a console player and you don't know how to do sabotage the lockdown, figure it out, just like the rest of us had. Yeah, it's the easiest challenge of all. If you're struggling with Genesis, you shouldn't even be playing games. Like, not even gonna lie, like, Genesis is like for babies. You could be brain dead and go through that. So Toy Factory introducing the brand new, so we already know. I'm not gonna read things that don't matter, because another thing is conveyor belts. So Toy Factory is definitely better than Program 5, and it's one of my favorite programs, and it's also one of my favorite programs to speedrun, because there's this really cool thing you could do where I called the Dan's door method, but essentially you drop it on the ground, you drop the box on the ground, and then you once you drop it, you pick it back up and then drop it again. And I'll have some gameplay on screen here. And then you turn around, pick it back up, and then jump backwards. Sometimes you'll rubber band and it doesn't work, or if you do it in a weird way or you stall too long, it won't work. But Dead Not Alive is actually better at it than me. But it's definitely the best method to skip conveyor belts. And I honestly feel bad for Red Barrels in a sense, because they put all this time into programming in the conveyor belts. And now it's like all you got to do is just jump through the doorway. So if anything, I know this is going to hurt the speedrunners' feelings, but I think they should patch this method. It is fun to do, don't get me wrong, it's very satisfying to go through the doors really quickly, but they should figure out a patch to... I know as a developer, even though it would piss off all the speedrunners, I would 100% try and fix this issue because of the amount of work it takes to programming in certain things. And they definitely had to program in those conveyor belts. So I think they should fix that, so people have to use the conveyor belts, not just go around them. But knowing Red Barrels, since they haven't fixed a lot of different exploits you could do against certain X-Pop, like the door method where you could creak a door back and forth and the X-Pop can't do anything. You know, they haven't fixed that yet. I tried it right away on full release. I'm guessing they're not going to fix this either because they don't know how to. So there are 3 permanent programs: Genesis, X, and Ultra. So rotating weekly program changes every Tuesday. So the weekly programs, which I'll have on screen here, are going to be repeats for PC players. And it's kind of sad because I thought maybe they would give us some new ones and then eventually repeat it later for console players. But instead they're just doing the same shit that gives you no new reward. So I guess PC players, you could just skip it, or if you're really, because this is the only game you play, you know, just at that point, it's like play some Helldivers, play something new. Like there's a lot of good games out there. It's not just at the Outlast Trials. Like, come on, guys. Because A+ing is useless. I think just playing the game just to get A+ on everything is, well, I mean, yeah, it's just to like, it's more of an ego thing. It doesn't actually mean anything in game. Nor do the devs care, because the way they develop the game, they clearly don't care if you get A+ or not now, because they don't give you anything of resemblance of reward. They don't give you an outfit. They don't get the only people that can see them is you, and the only way to show it off is taking a screenshot and posting it in a community. So if you are in competition with your friends or whatever, then I could see you doing that fine. But overall, it's a useless thing to do. I did this when the game first released. I would try to get A+ on everything, but it's just a waste of time now. Like, there's no point. It was more just an ego trip, and I soon realized that after realizing that there's no point in getting the bonus XP or coin, because if you play the game enough, you'll have enough coin to spend on everything, and you don't need bonus XP because you'll get to max level anyways right away. It doesn't take long to get to max level. But for some reason, console players have this like main character syndrome. They think that everything revolves around them. And I'm not talking about all console players, but a lot of the console players I've been seeing right now from other people sending me different comments and screenshotting different things and just kind of like keeping up with what's going on right now in the gaming industry. They think that the world revolves around them. And it doesn't, because you know, they're talking about, oh, well, I need to get this to get more XP faster and blah, 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 blah. When really, in reality, you could just play the game normally and you'll be fine. All you gotta do, console players, is farm, sabotage the lockdown. You'll get to max level and be able to reborn at the same time. If I was in your shoes, yes, it's boring, but that's what I would do. Because when PC players came out early access release, we had to farm Program X to get reborns and do all the trials every single time. Not that it was any different. Farming one program compared to farming 9 of the same program doesn't make it any different, other than the fact that it's easier. And if anything, I think it's stupid that they did change it, Program X, and it does ruin the speedrun for speedrunners or reborn hunters and all that shit. But judging by the fact how I think this game is quite boring now, and I was even thinking of lowering my rating, but I'll keep it at 6.5 until the next update, which is going to be in June, and we'll cover that in another video because I'm going to be talking a lot in this one. about the patch notes, so we'll cover that in another video where I go over the roadmap. But yeah, so the next update will be another 3 months from now, which is really ridiculous in my opinion, and they are going to have an event, but it's not going to... They're probably just going to give a fucking poster. It's not even going to be an outfit. It's actually really disappointing, but whatever. And the Q&A, I'm not going to do a video on the Q&A because it was late. They released it late, and it was supposed to be released before Tuesday of the official release date, because all the Q&A did was cover what's coming to the game. It wasn't even a Q&A. And then they answered a few retarded questions. They specifically picked out all the questions that were stupid. It was, I don't know, the Q&A was totally useless. So I'm not even going to cover it because it's already about everything what everybody knows. So they did buff the blind rig, by the way, just so everybody knows. They actually left a dev comment I will read here. So rig balancing, but let's read X-ray first. So teammates now appear in X-ray mode. X-ray can now be used while in hiding spots. Increased base X-ray cooldown to 45 seconds was 30 seconds. Using X-ray while in night vision will now deactivate night vision once the X-ray effect ends. Okay. The thing about the cooldown, so they nerfed it again. They put it to 45 seconds instead of 30. What? I don't know why they did this. Dev comment, we are committed to improving the usability of X-ray, aiming to make it more powerful intelligence tool. We made teammates appear in X-ray in order to help coordination and made the X-ray usable while inside a hiding spot to scout the surrounding while hiding. We will keep improving. Dude, nobody uses the X-ray rig. It's still useless. There's a few console players that don't know how to play the game saying it's a good rig. It's because they don't know how to play the game. Most people using the X-ray rig are either using it for fun, for shits and giggles, or if they're actually defending it and using it on a constant basis, they don't know how to play the game. It's simply that. The X-ray rig is useless. It was actually going to have a stun from the beta leaks. You can actually go back on one of my oldest videos when I was covering beta leaks before the game came out, and the X-ray rig was actually going to have a stun. When you ping enemies through the walls, they'd be stunned for a few seconds. Not as long as the stun rig or blind rig, but they were going to have a stun. Similar to the health rig or the medic rig. So kind of sucks. That is still useless, but whatever. The blind rig was rebuffed back to its original state before the nerf. It is 4 seconds now and 20 seconds of smoke, so that's nice. And it has a decent stun period, so you could use it just as much as the stun rig. So the blind rig and stun rig are usable now. The stun rig was buffed, which was nice. It has a 120-second cooldown instead of 180 now. And restore upgrade effect changed. Cooldown time is reduced by 75% if no enemy is hit, was 50%. So now it's even more. Fixed a bug where prime assets were immune to stun rig, and the prime asset that was immune was Coil. So I guess it was a bug. I thought it was just because Coil is like immune to being shocked. So that's why he wasn't really stunned for very long, and that's why the blind rig was such a meta thing to use on Kill the Snitch, the first program 1. But of course that doesn't matter now, because if you throw your stun rig directly at Coil, it will directly stun him. If you miss him slightly, it won't stun him for very long. It'll be like before, but that's because the way they made it now is if you have to get a direct hit with the stun rig, which obviously increases the skill set. Some people for some reason didn't notice this right away. It's very obvious. Like, if you throw your rig at the X-Pop, they're going to get stunned. If you miss slightly and the splash effect gets them, they're not going to be stunned for as long. Very simple concept, very easy to understand. The dev comment about the blind rig was, following player feedback on a recent change, we have reevaluated the balancing of the blind rig. While we maintain the blind mine as a powerful tool that demands strategic planning, we have made it slightly faster to deploy and increase the duration of the smoke effect. We recognize its critical role in helping players achieve certain trial objectives. We will continue to monitor player experiences and make further adjustments as needed. Thank you for your ongoing feedback. So I will say right now, more people are using the stun rig than ever, which I think that's good, because the stun rig was barely being used before. It was pretty much just the blind rig and heal rig. People are using the heal rig, stun rig. Console players are using the X-ray rig because they're bad at the game. And I mean, you could use the X-ray rig just for shits and giggles, don't get me wrong, if you just want to screw around. But if you say it's good and you actually soul-heartedly believe that it's a good rig, something's wrong with your brain. You might want to get that checked. Like, honestly, go see a doctor, dude. But you can now heal in hiding spots. So the heal rig got buffed because we believe the healing rig is currently well balanced, and they didn't really do much to it, but they did. You could use it now in hiding spots, and you could use the X-ray rig in hiding spots, but the blind rig and stun rig you can't use in hiding spots. You actually got to be out. I don't even know how you would use the blind rig in a hiding spot anyways. And the stun rig you can't throw from a hiding spot, which in my opinion is okay. I think you should have to use them out in the open, and I think they should honestly keep the rigs the same. Now, we are going to be getting a new rig according to the roadmap, but I will cover that in another video, and we'll talk about what that new rig could be, which I already kind of gave some of my ideas on what a new rig could be. But yeah, and then there's new cosmetics. Console release and crossplay, don't really care about. Improvements, balancing, and fixes. So they changed stamina. So I was talking about stamina. So stamina will now regenerate after a short delay instead of immediately. Stamina consumption has been slightly decreased, can run longer before exhaustion, which is good. You can run longer before exhaustion. And if you jump, you get a stumble, and then the regeneration is actually it's pretty fast. Honestly, the short delay instead of immediately, however, this is the way they're describing it in their words. I like the short delay more. The people that are complaining about this are just generally bad at the game. Speedrunners are like speedrunning faster than ever, and I feel like the stamina change is really good for speedrunners and overall just the health of the game. And then performing jump overs while exhausted now cause a short stumble animation. Yeah, you should be punished for trying to over exhaust yourself, and this is the best method. And I feel like the problem is if you look at the Helldivers devs, they actually have been talking out against stupid people, and I applaud them because it's true. There's a lot of dumb gamers that don't know about game design, and they complain about every single thing. And then finally in Helldivers, we got some devs actually calling out the shills. Now, of course, it hurt some feelings, so the CEO of Helldivers had to make an apology to all the disgusting sensitive people that are scared by words, which is whatever. I guess it is what it is. Red Barrels, on the other hand, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because Red Barrels probably will never do this because they like to be on everybody's side, but that's not the case. But like I said, their update was mediocre. It was good and bad. This has been definitely one of the best updates, and the health for the game is a lot better now since you can use the blind rig again. The X-ray rig I still don't care about. I might try it for shits and giggles just to see, but it's such a useless rig. It needs some more value to it. Nobody uses the rig. You could use it, like, what are you gonna be like yelling to your friends constantly like, oh, there's an enemy over here? Nobody cares, dude. Play with some speedrunners. You'll be left behind in seconds if you're in a trash can hiding using the X-ray rig. Nobody cares about X-ray rig users, dude. It's a fact. They're useless. Learn to use something useful instead of screwing over your team with the X-ray rig. Every time I've used the X-ray rig, I feel like I'm useless, and anybody else using it on the team is useless, and you can't do much because bricks and glass bottles are not as strong anymore. And they changed bricks again. I don't know, are they going to talk about this? They changed the HUD. I don't really care about the HUD. Oh yeah, the brick. Based on player feedback from our previous change, we have revisited the brick item. So instead of one use, it has 2 charges now before shatters. Updated behavior based on player feedback from previous change. The visual of the brick, both in world object and icon, will indicate the current state used or used. When the strong arm amp is equipped with the brick, will only have 1 charge. It will instantly shatter. Oh, okay, so the brick has a still. Okay, so if you throw it on the environment, it still has unlimited uses, but it has 2 charges without the strong arm. With strong arm, it has 1 charge. I think this is a good change. It's not the worst, but if you want the brick to be even usable, you need to have strong arm equipped. If you don't, the brick is actually like about the same as a glass bottle. It pretty much does the same thing. So a glass bottle, I mean, the glass bottle is worse because sometimes the X-Pop won't fall on their ass, and the brick has a strong chance of pushing the enemies to fall on their ass unless it's a giant. But overall, the brick is in a decent state, but not as good as what it was originally. But I guess the brick was a bit too overpowered before and made the game too easy. So I don't know. I don't really know what to think about the brick. I think it's okay. I don't really have any feedback to give to the developers about the brick, but yeah. But yeah, that concludes this video. There's not really much to the patch notes to really talk about other than the fact, I mean, you guys have seen my live streams, you guys have seen my past videos. I pretty much talked about a lot of the changes in my review. I just wanted to cover the things I didn't cover. But I'm going to keep my review to 6.5. I think it's a very mediocre update. I'm not going to lower it to the same review as my brother's, which was a 5.5. But if the next update isn't good or if better, I'm probably going to lower my rating to 5.5, just like my brother. But I can't recommend the game still, even at a 6.5, because there's not enough replayability. There's only 5 maps at full release. The game feels like it's missing a lot of content still. There's no season pass. There's some cosmetics locked behind potentially a paywall or a content wall, which by content wall I mean like a 3-month wait. We don't have Quacking Clan, we don't have the other one I covered in the other video, and we probably don't have other cosmetics as well that should be out at full release, and I don't understand why that's a thing. I still haven't gotten all the purple cosmetics and all the reskins, but all I know so far is that a lot of the purple cosmetics coming out they literally were in the beta, and now they're releasing them now after a year waiting. And the player counts are not going to stay around at 6,000 people for that long. The last thing I'll check is player counts, because we always do this. But like just checking right now, oh, it has gone up. Okay, so it's gone up to about, it was a bit slow, I guess. It was a bit sitting at 6,000 people for so long, but now it's at 7,000. So the peak was 7,233. So we'll see if maybe it'll slowly get back up to Halloween's player count levels. But after people complete the new stuff, because all the PC players coming back, you got to remember, probably ended at level 56. Max level is only 65 now. So since, you know, for example, I already completed, I got to max level, got all the legendary outfits. Now I completed all the new trials and all the programs. I'm not going to A+ them because it's useless, and most people are also going to do the same. They're not going to A+ them. It's only the speedrunners, just to show off to the friends and stuff, which is okay. Like I said, obviously it's a thing you could do, but it's totally useless, and there's no point because they're just going to wipe the A+ again. Now, it did say they're permanent programs, but say, for example, they switch out. In Program Ultra, when the new program drops in June, they're going to put Program 6 there instead. And then Program 5 is probably going to be in another area, or it's going to be at the start of... They're going to remix around the programs in the trials in Program Genesis X and Ultra. So I could care about A+. It's not going to be a permanent thing. It doesn't matter. I highly recommend you just have fun, play the game, and yeah, it is what it is. Don't worry about A+. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so it looks like player counts have gone up a bit according to Sunday, which is March 10th. But I'll be covering the roadmap in the next video, which will also release this week, probably in the next day. And then we'll go on to some Helldivers content because there's nothing really else to cover after this. I uploaded all the voice lines, gave my review. I showed a bug off that I found. Any more bugs I find, I'll upload. Yeah, I might re-upload some stuff that you could do, like certain, like specifically without any commentary or just gameplay or something, like the Dan's Door method or the Sabotage the Lockdown Farm. I might re-upload a video on that. Dead Not Alive already got a video up on it, so go check out his video about it. It's literally the best farming method. It's like for babies. Anybody could do it. Like, yeah, it's pretty basic shit. Alright, bye-bye. See you guys in the next one.
Well, it seems like this video has come to an end, and if you want to support Dan further, make sure to hit that join button, subscribe, like and smack that bell button.